Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm JPlays and this is Sinnoh. We just completed the challenge and I am taking on a challenger, Pokemon Trainer Red. So I was navigating the other regions, I went over to Vermilion City, and this guy picked a fight with me and I figured I had to take a try. My Sinnoh championship team. So we got my Explosion Metagross over here. I'm thinking that after the severe loss of my Stealth Rocks getting Magic Bounce because of this Espeon, which by the way, insane play. I thought my Explosion would be able to take it out, at least try to go even in a trade. This thing still has HP. I have never seen a sweeper like Espeon so bulky before. So, I am in big trouble. I try to send in a Pokemon that I know will outspeed this Espeon. I'm just trying to navigate how I can take this thing out. And before I know it, Pokemon Trainer Red switches out into his Snorlax. So naturally, ghost type moves don't work on Snorlax, so it was a really good play, honestly. I try to burn it just to try and get some chip damage on this thing, because I know it's going to be a problem. But Earthquake, I'm still thinking he's going to use Earthquake again, so I go into a Pokemon that's immune to Earthquake, like Gliscor. He switches out, which, again, I wasn't expecting, and now we're back to square one, having to deal with this fucking Espeon. So, naturally, I take the opportunity to hit it with a super effective move, and he switches again. He switches into Blastoise. So Blastoise, I know for a fact, is very scary. It can learn things like Shell Smash. It's got a lot of coverage moves like Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Flash Cannon. I go for a Toxic Stall strategy, and I realize that this is a setup Blastoise. It probably has Light Clay as its item, which extends the Reflect and Light Screen durations, which is probably what it's going for at this point. My Toxic is going to slowly chip damage away. I figure I'm in a comfortable spot right here, so I try to hit with Ice Beam. He switches out into Venusaur, which, again, my Ice Beam is going to be able to hit him for super effective damage, so not too worried about that. Venusaur comes out at a pretty inopportune time, but we're still in the situation where there's a Grass type versus a Water type. Sadly, it outspeeds me, so it's able to hit a Giga Drain, getting a huge amount of my HP, but I'm pretty sure my Ice Beam is going to kill it. Let's take a look. Life Orb is also really interesting on the Venusaur. I've never seen a Venusaur sweeper like that. Sadly, it lives with like 1 HP. I'm down a Pokemon. I figure a lot of his Pokemon are switched up. A lot of them are damaged. I'm going to go in for my Staraptor. Staraptor is going to be able to take out the small HP remaining on these other Pokemon. I have priority moves. It's a very fast Pokemon. It's a super hard hitter. So I'm hoping that Staraptor will be able to take it out. Sadly, critical hit, Life Orb, Giga Drain is going to keep the Venusaur in check. It's going to keep it in the game for a little bit longer. I figure my plan's still the same. I have to try and hit it for quick, small damage. I go for Brave Bird. Quick Attack probably would have been better because then I wouldn't have lost Staraptor's HP anymore. Sadly, I lose my Staraptor in that trade, but it's 1-2, and I think we can bring this back. So I think about my switch in. Alright, so now we have Rotom Wash versus Charizard. So I'm thinking this is a very comfortable spot for me. I can either use an electric attack or water attack. I go for water because it's a fire type. And he switches into Pikachu. So I'm not really scared of Pikachu. Pikachu is pretty easy to kill. It's not very tanky, so my Hydro Pump takes it out in 1 move. So we kind of brought it back to an even game state. It's 4-4. We got 2 kills to 2 kills, and he goes back to Espeon. So I try to go Volt Switch. Volt Switch is going to try and keep me in the game, trying to get a more opportune Pokemon out here. And this Espeon is still alive. I don't know how it is so tanky. I go into my own sort of tank. It's more of a sweeper. I'm going to bring out my Gliscor, and he uses Calm Mind. So scarier than the special defense boost to make it even tankier, it got the special attack boost. So now it's going to kill anything I have. I try to hit it with Earthquake, and again, it still doesn't kill. So this Espeon has still evaded me. It's 4-4, so I'm still feeling comfortable. If I'm able to take out this Espeon, then I think the rest of the team is going to be a little bit easier. Thinking that, maybe I get enough damage in, it'll be fine. Psyshock hits me, and somehow I survive. Now, I'm pretty sure Psyshock is that move that uses the physical defense. Because it's a special attacking move, it's like a unique one. So I think that's the only reason I survived. Knowing that I'm going to kill the Espeon, he switches out into Blastoise. So Blastoise is already poisoned. I hit it with an Earthquake. At this point, I'm thinking I just have to commit for damage. If I switch in, I'm going to be at a huge disadvantage. And luckily, I pull ahead against Pokemon Trainer Red. I take out his Blastoise. Gliscor is really coming in clutch, and he brings out a Charizard. So Charizard, I luckily have a water move to attack it, but it's faster than me. So unfortunately, Gliscor dies. That's okay though, because we have plenty of options to fight this Charizard. I bring out my Rotom Wash. Rotom has Hydro Pump, so I'm really comfortable with that. Again, he switches out the Charizard. I should have expected that. And he goes into Snorlax. We haven't seen Snorlax in a while. So Snorlax is super, super tanky. So even though I have a very powerful sweeper in Rotom Wash with the Hydro Pump with stab damage, still not going to be enough to take down this Snorlax. So I go for some more damage, thinking if I can just, beat that threshold, I'll be fine. And it uses Rest. So Rest is really dangerous because not only does it recover the burn, it also gains full HP. It's asleep for a couple turns, so I'm thinking, okay. Hydro Pump goes in. I think it's going to do maybe a third of its HP, which realistically is not enough. Sleep is going to wake up either this turn or next turn, so I just have to do a lot of damage. I'm thinking if I get a crit, I'll be lucky. And then I try to use Volt Switch, thinking that I can kind of change up what it's about to use. Maybe it's going to use like a Headbutt or something. I switch into my Ghost type. That's just so I can have a different approach when it wakes up. He uses Curse, which actually boosts his defenses, which is another problem because he's already really hard to get rid of. How do I get rid of him easily? I go for some more damage. I go Ice Beam. It does even less than Rotom Wash's Hydro Pumps. And Hydro Pump, there's only 5 of them. I can't use that forever, so I'm just going to have to hope that Ice Beam does it. But this Snorlax is walling me out. On this Ice Beam, I get it down to basically yellow health with a critical hit. It wakes up and uses Earthquake, immediately killing my Frostlass. So I have 2 Pokemon. I'm really not nervous about the Charizard or the Espeon because at this point they're really damaged. And I have 2 water types. So I think I'll be okay if I can get rid of this Snorlax. I use Recover to try and give some sustain to my Milotic, and I'm thinking that wasn't a smart move. He uses Body Slam, which if I didn't recover, I would have died. But I get paralyzed, which is really, really bad. I'm still faster, so I use another Recover to try and sustain. And sadly, the Stab Body Slam, it does a lot more damage than I would have liked. So at this point, I know I have to try and hit it. I go for some Toxic to try and stall it out a little bit, and then it hits me with another Body Slam. That's going to kill me. So we are down to just Rotom Wash. I switched out of this because I thought it wasn't a winning situation, but look at how damaged Snorlax is. If I'm able to get this hit, I'll be fine. I use my Hydro Pump. It hits. It doesn't quite kill. Body Slam does kill me because I'm no longer a Ghost type. And unfortunately, that is the challenge against Pokemon Trainer Red. I was dressed as Ash. I really tried to bring the main character energy, but it didn't work. So, GG's to Pokemon Trainer Red. I really enjoyed the fight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to drink water, especially you, because I know you're dehydrated. And I will see you in the next one.